Councilman Zakelli.
Here.
Deputy Mayor Tonella.
Here.
Mayor Peterson.
Here.
Please rise for the flag salute.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Adequate notice of this meeting was duly provided to the Verona Cedar Grove Times and the Star Ledger by email and published in an annual schedule of meetings dated December 24th, 2020, and filed with the Township Clerk and posted on the public bulletin board in the municipal building lobby in accordance with the Open Publics Meeting Act. Before we get on with the meeting, just want to let you know we have the mayor over here on FaceTime. And we also have Councilman Sakala over here. Is he on FaceTime too?
He's just on audio.
He's on audio in our COVID nature, so we have a full council here tonight. Just a little disoriented, but we're all here and we want to welcome everybody in the audience. Before we go through the agenda, I know Mr. Tucci, you just wanted to.
I just have one thing.
Sure.
At this point, I want to take the opportunity to introduce our new township attorney, Matthew Giacobbe. He comes from the firm of Cleary Giacobbe. He brings a wealth of experience and knowledge. They are municipal engineers in how many communities right now? How many communities are you municipal engineer?
Attorney,
Excuse me.
I'm not an
I'm sorry.
engineer anyway.
I threw you for a loop.
I was an English major for a good reason. We probably represent quite a few. We represent over 200 public entities.
And just so you know, Matthew is no stranger to myself. He represents the Township of Cedar Grove currently and all of last year as our tax appeal attorney. Nailima Nebia handled it for us, and now they're taking over the duties as the township attorney.
Right.
Also, they represented us in the NGIF. They are attorneys on the NGIF panel. Also, he represented my other interest at the Passaic Valley Sewage Authority. So I've known Matt for a while. He's handled many of our cases. He handled the Coptic Church case here in Cedar Grove to successful fruition. So we just want to welcome you.
Thank you
I
very
just want to
much.
introduce you to the public so that everybody knows who you are. And
Happy
I'm
New
sure
Year.
this is going to be very
Hopefully
fruitful.
2021 gets better.
Yeah. Thank you, Mr. Tucci.
Thank you.
Yeah, Mr. Jacoby, thank you. Thank you for being here. We're looking forward to working with you. We've heard a lot of great things about you and your firm, and we're all good. all good stuff. All good. So welcome, really.
Thank you very much.
Mr. Tucci, but before I'm looking on the agenda here, I know we have the members from the rescue squad
You might
here.
wanna-
Why don't we, do you want to,
You could deviate from the agenda.
Yeah.
I know they came here wanting to give a message.
yeah, if nobody has any
Maybe-
objection, I'd like to recognize the rescue squad, so please.
This is Ken Clark. I believe you're the president.
President,
Yes.
yes. We were invited by Mayor Peterson.
Yep.
She said she had some words to say to us. If she wants to do that first, if not, I have something I can say.
Why don't you start off with what you'd like to say? And I think, the mayor wants to say a few words, I'd like to say a few words, so please, go ahead.
Basically, I want to say thank you, Deputy Mayor Tonella, Mayor Peterson. I would also like to thank Mr. Tucci and Chief Sarasa with all the hard work that they did meeting with us to get us back up and running again. I don't think we would have been able to do it without them. Prior to the COVID-19 pandemic, we basically had experienced a drop in membership. We had a lot of older members, and when the COVID-19 hit, a number of us came down with it. We were at a St. Patrick's dinner all together. We got quarantine in place. We have a number of older members that had medical conditions, so we were forced to shut down. We've made a concerted effort to recruit new members. Instead of doing a fund drive this year, we did a membership drive. We sent letters to the entire township. We had quite a few town residents come and join us. We took in 20 new members, and of those 20, 10 of them currently in school EMTs. The EMT program had been stopped because of the COVID-19 that just started up recently. So in 6 months, we'll have them trained and up and running. And again, just want to thank you for allowing us to get back in service and to provide our service for the community.
Thank you, Mr. Clark. Really appreciate it. And, you're saying thank you to us, and it should be the other way around, saying thank you to you and the members here. 83 years of service to Cedar Grove. I don't even know what to say to that other than thank you. And I know I'm one of many in the town who've been personally impacted by the service you provided and the service to my family. I'm so glad we were able to work something out with the squad, to keep the squad, alive and thriving in town. I don't think, and I'm sure that the mayor will tell you, I don't think I have a memory from when I was a child, at a football game, at the fireworks, at any significant event that we ever had in town where the squad is not present. The carnival. I mean, you're always there and you're always a presence. And I'm just so glad, yes, you hit a bump in the road and things happen. And I'm so glad we're able to turn that page. You're successfully recruiting 20 new members. Hopefully in 2021, you'll get some more new members. And just continue the excellent tradition that we all know, the Cedar Grove Rescue Squad has in Cedar Grove. So really, from the behalf of the council, I want to thank you and all the members here and the Rescue Squad for everything that you've done for Cedar Grove.
Thank you very much.
Really. Mayor, do you want to say a few words?
Thank you, Deputy Mayor. I would like to say a few words. I would like to thank everyone from the Ambulance Rescue Squad who are present this evening. And I'm just so happy that you're up and back running officially tonight. I know it's been a long road. It's been a difficult year, but like the Deputy Mayor said, the history of the Rescue Squad in this town is so deep. The roots run very deep, and it's something that I think was worth the work on everyone's part to get up and running. I can speak for me personally. I was on the rescue squad when I was 16 years old, and there's a lot of people that were there then, like Patty High, Lynch, Jimmy High, who helped build a lot of the rescue squad, my brother Jerry, Kenny Clark. So many people were there, and it wasn't just a place where we went and we served the community. It's a place where we were a family, and I can say just for myself, Tony Lee High was a person that's a reason I became a nurse. She molded the person I am, and all of these people were role models to me and helped me grow up and become the person that I am. So I think so much more goes on at the squad other than just answering calls and serving the community. It's a family, and it's so important. We had a member, E. Foley, many years ago who gave her life on her way to a call. The merger of the old ambulance unit and the rescue squad that sits there today. There's just so much history. It's really, truly one of the backbones of this town. So I thank the township manager, the chief, for everybody coming together and working out a plan to get the squad. I know it's going to be back to its glory one day. You guys are going to get there, and you've done so much work to get your membership going, and I know that the momentum will continue. And I just thank you all so very much for your service. I'm sorry we can't have an installation dinner this year, but I congratulate all the new officers, and I thank Kenny Clark for being the president, and everybody for doing everything that you do every day, and I look forward to watching you grow over the next year. Thank you.
Thank you, Mayor.
Thanks, Mayor. Does anybody else on the council have anything to say? Want to add? No?
Echo the sentiments.
Yep, okay.
I was
All
going
right.
to say the same. Thank you for your service, and we're glad, on behalf of the entire council, we're happy that it worked out, and we have you back.
Yeah.
Back doing the volunteer work for the town. Thank you.
Not that we need to run, but we're doing training.
Yeah, no, go ahead, right. Oh, hold on, one more person over here, sorry, real quick. Yes, Councilman, go ahead.
Yes, I just want to say the same thing. Thank you for your service to our town, and welcome back. I do have a question, though. I have several Boy Scouts in Troop 65 in town that are interested in joining the rescue squad. So how can I have them, who can I have them contact in terms of becoming potential recruits for you?
How old are they?
How old are they, Councilman?
16 and maybe 17.
All right, as long as they're 16 or over, they could join as a probationary member. Should we have them contact you, Jocelyn?
Yes.
We have a website, they could go on our website.
Right.
And they could fill out the form on there.
New member form on the website?
It'll be a contact.
Okay.
So Jocelyn will contact them, and then we could have them come down to the building with their parents, show them around and get the process started.
Okay, did you hear that?
I'll pass the
Perfect. Great. So you're recruiting right here. Look at that. 2 more members for you. No, seriously, thank you again for coming down, and thank you to all of you for coming, really. Thank you. All right? All right. One other deviation from the agenda, if there's no objection. I see Mr. Splendore in the audience. I know you wanted to come up and say a statement on behalf of your son?
Yes.
So come on up, please. Happy New Year.
Happy New Year.
It's good to see you.
It's good to see everybody. Hopefully, we won't be doing this much longer.
No, hopefully. Right.
I'm here tonight, not on behalf of myself, on behalf of Nick.
Yep.
Nick is quarantining. They have to quarantine for 2 weeks before he can go back to campus. So he's home doing that, and maybe I can go. I was like, nah, don't go, Nick. You have such a good reputation at school, and you don't want to
Exactly.
do anything to jeopardize it. So, so I'm going to read a little statement.
Please, go ahead.
And this is written by Nick. These are his words.
You're just a messenger. No, that's
I
fine.
could write this way.
Yep.
Let me just make sure I have everything here.
Take your time.
So, first off, I do know that Nick definitely wanted to take a moment to thank Mayor Peterson for working with him, and also he wanted to give a shout out to Mara Novak of New Jersey 11 for Change for drafting the language of the resolution that he wanted to introduce. So this is just a brief, just a little kind of an introductory statement that he wrote. So these are Nick's words. Members of the council, I would like to introduce a resolution supporting our nation's free and fair elections. My original intent was to come before the council and talk about how this resolution would benefit young people, people of my generation and younger, as we become stewards of our democracy. I thought this was necessary because, as studies and personal experience have shown, many people my age would quickly become apathetic or not value democracy because of how messy our politics has become. By this council unequivocally saying that they support and value free and fair elections, I thought it was one small step we could take in shoring up faith in our institutions. But in light of the insurrection of our nation's capital last Wednesday, trying to inspire faith in our institutions through all parts of our community is more important than ever. When historians look back at what happened at our nation's capital, they will find that white supremacy, anti-Semitism, and the slow embrace of authoritarianism were all factors in the attack on our capital. However, we are not historians, and we are dealing with this crisis at this moment. If we want to fulfill our mandate as citizens to form a more perfect union, we need to address one of the immediate factors of this insurrection, a lack of faith in our institutions, specifically our elections. From personal experience and surveys of the country, we know that people doubt the security and legitimacy of our country's elections. Large swaths of Republicans, Democrats, and independent voters believe that the elections in 2020 were uncompromised or illegitimate in some way. The hard truth is there likely are voters in our community that have doubts about our elections. This is a truth we need to face for many reasons. Our elections are administered locally, run by our town and our county. It is our neighbors, the people we see in the grocery store and in places of worship that run our elections, and we need to be able to trust our neighbors. Not to mention we are on the precipice of having a democracy that is truly representative and that more fully encapsulates the diversity of our nation. If we want to see this played out in our lifetimes, it requires all citizens, regardless of party, to vote. And if we want our local races to be more robust and representative, it is imperative that voters in our town not only trust our elections, but also are encouraged to go out and vote. More broadly, this resolution is needed because we need to let everyone in our community know that our elected leaders believe in the power of our democracy. You are our neighbors, the people who we see at church or at a football game, and your words can speak volumes over that of national figures that may seek to divide us. Our democracy is fragile, but rebuilding it starts here in this chamber with a simple resolution affirming your support for the bedrock of our republic. I think it would be remiss without bringing up the thoughts of one notable American, Benjamin Franklin. At the end of the Constitutional Convention, a woman asked Franklin what government we had, and he uttered his famous reply, a republic a republic if you can keep it. In the face of a mob that sought to test our faith in democracy, we are here tonight engaging in government at its most basic level. The work of keeping a republic starts here and in communities across this country, where we can affirm our faith in democracy and work to ensure that our neighbors believe in the power of democracy just as strongly as we do. I want to thank you all for your time and also say that as this resolution is just one small step in engaging in the hard work of citizenship, I look forward to working with this body on finding ways to strengthen our democracy right here in Cedar Grove. And that's Nick, if I peek in the neck, he's a...
Yeah, sure.
Okay, so this kid actually has me check over stuff that he wants.
Now, Mr. Splendoria, thank you for reading that on behalf of Nick. We all know Nick, the mayor, all of us here, and really proud of him and his accomplishments. He's he's years beyond his age, and just you can tell by his writing, but he presents himself like that in person as well too. And I'm sure we look forward to working with him in the years ahead, because I'm sure he's going to be very involved in this community in one way or the other, and we welcome that. You're mentioning the resolution, which I think what we're going to end up doing is, if no objection, at our next staff meeting, we got it for the first time in our packet over the weekend. We'll review it, and then we'll discuss it at our next staff meeting. We'll make a decision at that point in time whether or not we're going to approve it or not. Just we'll all be in person together and we'll be able to talk about it. But you talk about affirming the support of a fair election. I mean, what else, what else can we be looking for? And that's all we're looking for. You see what's gone on the federal level. In our most recent local election, their incident that Councilman Massari and I, we were a part of, where, there were individuals, soliciting whatever you wanted to call late in the evening, and it raised a lot of questions and concerns to us as candidates in that election. I was looking at the resolution that Nick provided to us, and it talked about irregularities must be investigated impartially and remedied as appropriate. And I couldn't agree more with that. So I just want to thank Nick, through you, for taking the time to put this together and put it in front of us so we can talk about it. And if it's going to make us, a better board, I'm all for it.
And I'd like to just, as a dad, as Nick's dad, I'd like to thank the council, especially you, Mayor, for taking Nick seriously. For a lot of places, a young man like Nick, people wouldn't take seriously.
Yeah.
But I want to thank everybody for encouraging him, and I think that's a great thing. I think maybe get more young people involved.
I completely agree. Mayor, do you want to say anything?
Yes, it's truly been my pleasure to talk with Nick. He's the same age as my daughter, and to just, so I'm very familiar, obviously, with kids of that age, and he is just so far beyond his years and wise, and just the fact that he wants to be involved, and he, like you and I have had this conversation, Len, I know how much you care about this community, and you've instilled that in your son, and he truly cares about Cedar Grove and just wants it to be the best place it possibly can be, coming from just such a positive place, and I know that myself and everyone on the council, we truly appreciate that. And of course, this is a very serious thing that I think, we can all agree we take all very seriously. We will discuss it as a council, we will vote on it, and, hopefully the resolution will pass, and we will let him know, if and when that happens, when it's going to be. I told him if he's at school, I can send him, a video of the meeting, however we have to do it, but I really look forward to working with him in the future, and please thank him for doing this.
Yeah, he does. He's a level-headed kid. He keeps me level-headed. So thank you.
Thank you.
Everybody have a good weekend.
Yeah, you too.
Mr. Splendoria,
Yes.
could you give me your first name and
Oh.
your address?
I'm sorry, Leonard Splendoria, 19 Rose Terrace.
Thank you.
Good night.
Take care, man. Have a good night. All right, moving on with the agenda. If there's no objection, can we take 2A and B together?
No objection.
Yeah, sure.
Deputy Mayor, you can take all the, that's a,
The approval of minutes.
the approval of minutes.
Yeah.
Yes, okay.
Yeah. All right. 2A, to consider approval of minutes of regular public meeting December 7th, 2020, and 2B, to consider approval of minutes of special public meeting December 21st, 2020. Is there a motion to approve?
Make a motion to approve.
Is there a second?
Second.
Any discussion? Roll call, please.
Councilman Sakala.
Yes, as to 2A, and I abstain as to 2B.
Councilman Messeri.
Yes.
Councilman Zakeli.
Yes.
Deputy Mayor Tinella.
Yes.
Mayor Peterson.
Yes.
Item 3, the meeting is now open to residents of the township wishing to be heard on any item on or off the agenda. Seeing none, I close that portion of the meeting. Item 4, reports of township officials. Good evening, Mr. Tucci.
Good evening, Deputy Mayor and Mayor. Just a few quick items for this evening. In the packet, there is a letter, I believe, from the law offices of Mitchell Berger. A property owner along Grove Avenue wants to donate property. It's on the Peckman River side of Grove Avenue. I don't believe it's a developable lot, and I think he wants to donate it to the township. At this point, rather than discuss it at an open public meeting, I want to make 2 suggestions. Number 1, the governing body take a look at the property to see if you want to accept it, because a lot of those properties are very eroded. And the other thing is that when you do that, you're going to take it off the tax roll. And the second thing, I would advise that have the township attorney write an opinion memo for the next staff meeting on what the procedure would be to do that. You might even want to reach out to Mr. Berger's office, have some communication just to get a little bit clearer as to what the intentions are at that point. And then we could discuss it at the staff meeting, because it's hard to discuss
Agreed.
these things at a public meeting.
Anybody have any comment? No? Okay, that makes sense.
Okay. Next item, the ambulance and rescue squad, you were here. There was a copy of the agreement in your packet. We're all happy that they're able to start. The old saying, every long journey starts with a first step, and here we are along that line.
Yeah, Mr. Tucci, before you move on for that, I know the mayor mentioned it earlier, and I was remiss in thanking you and the chief, because there was a lot of time spent on that agreement and a lot of meetings and a lot of man hours, and I just want to take the time to say thank you to you and the chief for, putting the time in to, try to make this work.
And again, as you all have said here, and I don't want to repeat again, but you can't kick 83 years to the curb
Right.
and act like it never happened.
Right.
There's got to be something there. Additionally, in the packet, I think I emailed this, but I think it was given out tonight, there are proposed hearing dates for our budget hearings. The proposed dates are Monday, February 1st at 5 o'clock, Tuesday, February 2nd, and then if needed, on the 3rd. Those are the dates that are being proposed at this point. I know, Councilman Kelly, you indicated you were
Yes,
okay
I'm
with those
available
dates.
all days.
I only have one question about the 1st. I have a DEP that afternoon. So I should be available, but it might be a little bit late, Mr.
Okay.
Tucci. The other days are fine.
Okay. Mayor?
Wait, I'm sorry, when were the days?
It was Monday, February 1st at 5 o'clock, Tuesday, February 2nd at 5 o'clock, and then if needed, which most of the time we don't need it, Wednesday, February 3rd.
Yes, I'm fine. That's
Okay.
it.
Councilman Sakala?
Mr. Tucci, I'm available those days as well.
So am I.
All right, so then we're going to publish those
Yep.
dates, and we'll go, just for the township attorneys, you're not required to attend that, so
Okay.
you don't have to pencil out those dates. And that's all I have for this evening, Mayor. Thank you. And I just want to wish everybody a happy new year. Hopefully 2021 is going to be very fruitful and much better than 2020.
From your lips to God's ears, Mr.
Start
Tucci.
off pretty good.
Can I just ask, before we move on,
Yep.
can I just ask a question about the first item?
Sure.
Mr. Tucci, I know that council is going to do an opinion letter. Perhaps this is more for council, but maybe you could help framing my question. If that property is removed from the tax rolls, how does that impact COA in a few years? How does that impact the?
Well, I believe it's an undevelopable piece
So
of
it doesn't-
property. It's in the wetlands. I think it's in the floodway. It's not only
Yeah,
in
so
the
if it's
flood
in
zone.
the floodway, it's not part of your inventory that you could ever use as property.
So it's not counted anyway?
Yeah, that's why I would like the town attorney to, to lay it out for us a little further. And I think, we can discuss it. Again, there may be some other implications, like I don't know if the person owes back taxes and is looking for us to waive it in order to
Right.
give it or not. So, there may be other issues tied into this.
Okay.
You understand, whenever you accept a piece of property, you accept it, whatever it is. So if there's contamination on it, I
Right.
mean, it's not as simple, oh, great, thanks, we'll take it.
Right.
So you have to do your due diligence on it.
Right.
You guys can accept property, but usually, usually property is accepted so it expands a park or something like that, a public use. If it's to just get rid of a tract that is off your tax rolls, but it becomes, an expense for you, especially if it's along a river or something and there's.
And it could be a maintenance issue at some point.
Right.
Okay.
Thank you, that's all I have.
That's all I have.
Mrs. Stutz, good evening. Any report?
Good evening, Deputy Mayor. The only comment or announcement I'd like to make is that this year the council has or the township has a municipal election on Tuesday, May 11th, and there are 3 council seats that will be open.
We're talking about elections already?
I have to. I'm sorry.
Wow.
Shortly, the advertisement as to the availability of council packets will be up on our website. There's a couple of issues I need to get answered from both the county and the state
Okay.
regarding that before I,
May 11th? All right.
yes.
Stutz,
Excellent.
when is that paperwork due by the candidates? When does that have to, we don't know yet.
Usually
It's
February.
64 days
64
prior
days.
to the date of the election, which puts it, I believe, in the first week in March.
You're all set, Joe. You're good this year.
Oh, I'm good with that.
Anything else, Ms. Stutz?
No, that's all.
Awesome, okay. Mr. Jacobitz, any report?
No, I have no report since this is my
Yep.
first meeting, but
Excellent. All right.
Did
I'm
pretty
sure you're
good
going to be
so
loaded
far.
for the
progress, we're making a lot of progress.
That's the way to start, no report. We love that. All right. Why don't we'll go through, Councilman Messeri, any report?
Thank you, Deputy Mayor. I just, no formal report, I just had a question for Mr. Tucci. It's really, and for the council. I've had some follow-up from some of the residents regarding the community center. I know it wasn't that long ago that they were here, but I feel that the follow-up is just to make sure that we don't forget about it. So what do we plan on, how do we plan on handling that?
All right.
What is our?
Let me lay out where we are at this point. The first option is always to find a location, and that's probably going to be the hardest part. We had discussed I went back on my notes because we've had this discussion a number of times over the last 10, 20 years. The last we left off, the consensus amongst the sitting council, I don't know if all you were sitting at that
Right.
point, was the existing pool building down at Community Park. That seemed to be the consensus only because the infrastructure is there. There won't be an issue with Green Acres because you have an existing building, but we'd get a sign off from them anyway, and the parking is already there. So what I plan to do is I plan to put money in the capital budget to have plans and specifications prepared if the governing body goes along with that, and that will be the first step, and then we could formulate what's going to actually happen there as far as what size building and what it would do. It would incorporate the pool house building and a community center all in one, probably house our recreation department also.
Right.
So that's what the vision is at this point. But again, unless you have somebody come in and actually design the thing, it's hard. And at that point, we would have community input as to what their visions are. And at some point, what I would like to do is I'd like to put out to the public and have them write to the governing body and just indicate what they would like to see as part of this community center, and then you as a governing body could pare it down as to what you want to incorporate and what you don't. But that's where I see, but you're going to see that in the next grouping of our capital budget that'll be presented to you.
Great, thank you, Mr. Tucci.
Hope that answers.
No, that's a great answer, so at least I can report back and, you know, and.
But it's not forgotten, and it's not on the back burner, it's going to be there.
Thank you. Nothing.
Anything else? No, okay. Councilman Sakala, any report?
No report, thank you.
All right. Yes, sir.
Two quick-
Councilman Sakala.
Two quick things for Mr. Tucci. Do we know if the Firehouse got their new fire engine yet? And if so, are we gonna have some type of ceremony?
I don't know, I believe it got delivered, that's the last I heard, but I think there was a problem with something that had to go back, but I don't know, it's not gonna go back to Minnesota where it was fabricated, it's gonna be somewhere locally, but we are, as soon as that gets back here, we're gonna have to do something, it'll be masked, it'll be outside, but we will have some kind of ceremony, because it'll also be the ceremony for the new firehouse and the new fire truck all at one time. And just to follow up on what you were asking, all total, it probably came to about $3.2 million between the cost of the fire truck and the cost of the firehouse, and the township did not fund it. It was funded through the Kehovnanian project. They built the firehouse at full cost, and plus we received $1 million, which we paid $778,000 for the new fire truck, and we bought all new face masks for the entire fire department for $300,000. So that's where a little over $3.2 million went and was spent, but it was not out of township coffers. It did not come out of the township's pockets.
It takes a little bit of the sting out of those painful years and meetings that we had, the last one being here with that massive town hall and so many people being upset.
Right.
And it's almost ironic, and I'm glad you brought it up, a former resident who grew up here in town, who lives in another neighboring town in Morris County, actually asked me the question on Saturday. He called me and he said, how did you guys get so much from these developers? In his town, of course, they're looking down the barrel of a loaded gun with affordable housing, their co-obligation, and he says, I hear nothing. All we're doing is seeing, this piece of property going here, this one piece going here, and units, and he goes, I hear nothing. And he knows our town. He's like, you got Panther Park, you have, you have the LRP, you have the Firehouse. He says, how do you guys get all that? I said, I'm always looking to pat myself on the back. It was a lot of hard work over a lot of years, and still at the end of the day, a lot of people would rather see that land green or open, but, he did the best we can, like we've talked about.
And you will see, as Councilman Zakelli has highlighted, when we have this groundbreaking ceremony or whatever you want to call it, you're going to see a state-of-the-art business building in there. You're going to go in there and you're going to see the fire department have the best of everything. As a matter of fact, that building has cameras 24/7 that any fire official, their officers and the police desk monitor it 24/7. It has alarms when you get close to the building. It records anybody in and around the perimeter. It's really, really high tech.
Wow.
And, it needed it.
Yeah.
The old building was pretty dilapidated, and also, not to digress from what we're talking about, but you're going to see in the capital budget a proposal for the North End Firehouse. Also, for architectural plans, to have somebody take a look at that. North End has approached me about the township taking over that building, because now Cedar Grove owns the South End Firehouse because the fire company donated. North End is looking to do the same thing. It's hard for volunteers to sustain themselves and keep up the building with maintenance and everything else, and also be firefighters. So they're looking to hand it over to us, for us to help them with it, and hopefully we'll be able to do something on the North End also.
Right, agreed. Thanks, Mr. Tucci.
Okay.
I know the fire department, they had 2 fires within the past 2 weeks, so I'm sure they're very appreciative of the new facility and the new engine as well. And the only other thing I had was, I discussed it with the mayor, obviously people are home more often now, they're using the trails more. We didn't have clean sweep this year, and 2 residents reached out wondering if that would be something we're doing this year, socially distanced, or maybe alternating a weekend, because the trails are a little bit more dirty than they would have been in other years. So I said I would ask and see if, obviously COVID restrictions change, maybe that's something we can look into bringing back this year as well.
Well, what we're going to do, in answer to your question, is if the state of New Jersey does not fund the Clean Communities program, and we don't have our clean sweep with state funds, the township will fund it. We will have our own clean sweep day, because clean sweep has always been a tradition here in Cedar Grove. It's always great to get all the volunteer groups together. And again, we may do it with a social distance, and we'll keep everybody apart. But I think it's a good suggestion on your part that we have it in some form.
Agreed.
That's all I have, thank you.
Okay, great. Mayor, any report?
Deputy Mayor, thank you so much. First, I just want to once again thank you, Mr. Tucci, for all the work that you've done getting the rescue squad back up and running. You and the chief, I know it was very hard and laborious, but just their first night back tonight on the second call is just a good feeling. Like I said, there's just so much history there, and I'm just really thankful for all your hard work and your time in making sure that happened. The only other thing I had a resident reach out to me regarding, I'm not sure if anyone is familiar with a program called the Free Little Pantry. It's a dwelling that someone built. It's the Northeast Coalition. It's I guess a not-for-profit that would build basically a pantry that would allow access to people with food insecurities. And one of our residents emailed me and asked if we could have something like this in Cedar Grove. She did. I asked her for additional information. She said they have funds to build it. They have volunteers to monitor it. She monitored 3 of them in Montclair. And she also said that the Reverend at Community Church offered their property to house this free pantry. So I'm just asking the council and the manager for any feedback, what I might, if there's more questions, if we have to explore this, if I could tell her, sure, go ahead and do it. I'm not sure, but I did think it was a nice idea. Sometimes we're not aware, people do have food insecurities and we're not even aware of it. It might give them an opportunity to just, pick up some groceries that are needed if they're low on funds.
Mayor, why don't you, I'm suggesting that you have them contact me. This way I could discuss the details with them and get a little more information, and then I'll report back to the governing body as to where we are with it.
Okay, I will do that.
Okay?
And then the only other thing I have, if I may, ask that we have an executive session after this meeting, and the purpose is personnel.
Right. Thank you, Mayor.
Thank
All right.
you.
I don't have any reports, so I'm going to move on to the consent agenda. If there's no objection, we can take 5A through G together. Okay?
No objection.
No. Ms. Stutz, I just read it off?
Yes.
All right. 5A, to consider a resolution concerning interest of delinquent taxes. B, to consider a resolution concerning 2021 temporary budget. C, to consider a resolution concerning 2021 tax sale certificate redemption fee. D, to consider a resolution concerning 2021 petty cash. E, to consider a resolution concerning 2021 cash management plan. F, to consider a resolution concerning renewal of 2021 amusement business license. And G, to consider a resolution concerning renewal of 2021 amusement device license. Is there a motion to approve?
I'll make the motion, Deputy Mayor.
Second.
Is there any discussion? Roll call, please.
Councilman Sakala.
Yes.
Councilman Messeri.
Yes.
Councilman Zakelli.
Yes.
Deputy Mayor Tinella.
Yes.
Mayor Peterson.
Yes.
Item 6, approval of bills.
Be it resolved that the summary of bills, having been duly audited and found correct, are hereby ordered paid in the amount of $820,941.88.
Is there a motion to approve?
I'll make a motion to approve.
Is there a second?
Second.
Any discussion? Any discussion? Roll call, please.
Councilman Sakala.
Yes.
Councilman Messeri.
Yes.
Councilman Zakelli.
Yes.
Deputy Mayor Tinella.
Yes.
Mayor Peterson.
Yes.
All right, the meeting is now open to residents of the township wishing to be heard on any item on or off the agenda concerning township business. Seeing none, I close that portion of the meeting. Whereas Section 8 of the Open Publics Meeting Act permits the exclusion of the public from a meeting of the mayor and council in certain circumstances, and whereas the mayor and council of the Township of Cedar Grove are of the opinion that such circumstances exist, now therefore be it resolved by the mayor and council of the Township of Cedar Grove, County of Essex, State of New Jersey, that the public shall be excluded from discussion of any action on the executive session of the meeting of the mayor and council of January 11, 2021. The general nature of the subject matter to be discussed is personnel. It is anticipated at this time that the above stated subject matter will be made public as soon thereafter, as it is deemed in the public interest to do so. This resolution shall take effect immediately. Is there a motion to approve?
Make a motion to approve.
Any discussion? A roll call, please.
Councilman Sakala.
Yes.
Councilman Misseri.
Yes.
Councilman Zakeli.
Yes.
Deputy Mayor Tinelli.
Yes.
Mayor Peterson.
Yes.
Is there a motion for adjournment?
Move to adjourn.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye? Okay, thank you very much, Mr. Romano. Have a happy new year. Thanks.